Ladies and gentlemen, please get seated. Can I ask Airbus and Boeing people, please make room for the journalists? Thank you. Okay. Can we please move more to the side to make more room for the journalists here, please? Ladies and gentlemen, yes, can the Airbus people please move to the back or out? Yeah, please make room for our media colleagues. Okay, Tim, come here over.
Seats over there. There are seats in the front, right here. There are seats right there. Push your way in.
Okay. A very warm welcome here to the Farnborough International Air Show 2014. A warm welcome on behalf of Airbus. Wow, what a day, World Championship, brilliant sunshine. 20 orders by IAG already for A320, adding to their fleet of 120 single-aisle aircraft by Airbus already in operation, list price 2.2 billion, and now the launch of a new baby for our successful Widebody family. I'm very pleased to have the people who can give you more detail on this strategic announcement here on the podium. Please welcome with me Fabrice Breguet, Airbus President and CEO, John Leahy, our Chief Operating Officer Customers, and Eric Schulz, Rolls-Royce President Civil Large Engines. And without any further ado, Fabrice, I give the floor over to you.
Thank you, Stefan. Good morning, everybody, and I wish you a very active and good air show. As you could see, for Airbus, we have a good start. The group has just announced this morning that they authorized us to launch unconditionally the A330neo. So you will see in more details what it is about. We enjoy very good sales of the A330. We have sold, I think, more A330s than Boeing 787 for the last 5 years. But we were listening to our customers, and we have one here next to us, John Pluger from ALC, were telling us, he's not the only one, your aircraft is fantastic, would be even more fantastic if you could achieve the level of fuel burn which is now permitted by good engines. So we worked out a solution which I believe keeps the maturity, keeps the simplicity, keeps all what is good for the customers on the A330, and on top improves the fuel burn per seat by 14%. And doing so, we achieve level of fuel burn per trip which are equivalent to the 787-8 for the A330-800 and -9 for the A330-900. Perhaps even, John, you will say we are slightly better, but let's say equivalent. And we have, of course, the advantages of lower maintenance costs and lower capital costs. So you will see that in more details in John's presentation. I would like to insist on a few points. First of all, we are able to do it in only 3 years and a half, which is quite new in this business. So we are re-engineering, we are modifying the wing, we are optimizing the aerodynamics of this aircraft in 1 year and a half less than we do on the A330neo. It's not because we are much better, it's because, first of all, we start from an existing engine, and so this one is a big de-risking factor. And second, I want an Airbus which is more agile, which is faster in decision-making, which works together better. And I insisted largely on that internally to make sure that we could develop this product in line with market expectations. So this one is very important. The second important point is that we insisted, Tom Enders insisted a lot, that yes, we are launching brand new products when it makes sense, like the A350, but we have a huge potential in our family. 320, we started with a Neo. And so we are looking for faster incremental improvements. And this is, I believe, one of the best examples we could do based on the 330. This investment was not planned, so as a very short-term negative impact, as you could see on the Airbus Group performance in 2015, will dilute the EBIT by 0.7%. But the business case, I can confirm, is an excellent one. The board of Airbus Group approved unanimously the launch this weekend of this family, and we expect to sell at least 1,000 of these A330neo aircraft. Now, John, I think it's time for you to make us dream.
Okay. Let's take a quick look at this airplane. By the way, people in the corridor, there's still seats over here on the left side. Fabrice said that we're building it fast. As you can see, we've already got one built down there in Toulouse. Of course, the landing gear is missing. Taking notes there. So let me expand upon that just a little bit going forward here. And click on this, gentlemen. You can see, as Fabrice said, that the A330 is a very, very solid base to build on. Look at the numbers here. 787 launch, our own A350 launch. We've sold more airplanes since these so-called new generation came out than we'd actually sold beforehand with the A330 program. So as Rolls is doing over there with their 7000 engine, making the best better, that's exactly what we're doing with this aircraft as well. And it is a very big market. Now, on the 350-900, we don't quite have the range of a 350-900 or a 787-9. In fact, you'll see in a few minutes, we're probably about somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 miles short on range. On the 330-800, we actually have more range than a 787-8. So if you look at the market to 2032, you can see about 600 aircraft just require more range than we would have with that airplane. So we take those out. And look at the open demand. It's rather enormous. And what's very interesting is that top blue column, 2600, that's open demand with operators that are currently flying 330s. So as we did our market study, we decided these are people who love the 330, are making a lot of money with the 330, have their pilots trained on 330s, but would like to have more fuel efficiency. And that's exactly what we're doing with this aircraft. The A330neo, 95% airframe common with today's 330. Of course, new engine, nacelle, pylon. Wing is modified. That gives us 14% lower seat mile cost in terms of, rather, 14% lower fuel burn per seat, 12% per trip on the aircraft. Now, here are some of the key things that we've done on the aircraft. We have a 4% aerodynamic improvement. How do we get 4% aerodynamic improvement? Well, one of the things is we extend the wingspan. It's now a 64-meter wingspan with big sharklets on the end. That picks up about 4%. There's also a retwisting of the wing involved. Then we have the cabin, Space Flex, that we have very successfully introduced on our A330neo family, which moves lavatories and galleys around, picks up to 10 incremental seats. New generation engine, I'll let Eric talk about that, but 11% lower fuel burn. Fan size is increased. Yes, fan size is very important. It's up to 112 inches, as you can see now in that little model there. It is a modification of the 787-10 engine, but of course it is going to be a bleed. It's electronic bleed. We get rid of all the pneumatics on the bleed. We still believe bleed is much better way to go in terms of cabin pressure, etc. But some of the reliability issues on the bleed system, even though it's been around since the dawn of the jet age, have to do with the pneumatics that control it. We eliminate the pneumatics, so we have the best of both worlds. Common type rating, as I said before, a common type rating with a 350, but the same type rating as a 330. So a 330 captain, first officer can fly this aircraft as soon as it arrives. The engine, I'll just go very quickly through that because Eric will say a few words, but notice the fan is bigger. Bypass ratio from 5 to 1 is now increased to 10 to 1. That's where you're getting a lot of the fuel efficiency. 5 to 1 to 10 to 1. Pressure ratio from 35 to 50 to 1. 68 to 72,000 pounds of takeoff thrust. Electric bleed air system. And, of course, a lot of commonality as well. In terms of our aerodynamic optimization, 3.7 meters more wingspan, but we still stay within category E. 3.7 more wingspan. That's a lot of additional wingspan, and we do not need to make it look like a fighter aircraft with folding wings, etc. We can do this and stay within category E. So that's the new sharklet that we have. And that's the moving up from the 60.3 meter span to the 64 meter span. And then, of course, direct maintenance cost is very important. And one of the ways we can lower direct maintenance costs by 5% is to reschedule some of the maintenance. If you look at this right now, 2C evolution is moved from 42 months to 48 months. The maintenance planning document is optimized. Evolution of the design, check to 2,000 flight hours in 6 months, been moved. You put all that together, and there's the bottom line. 50% less mechanic hours on that airplane over 12 years. 50% less man hours in maintenance over a 12-year program. And then, of course, with the electrical bleed air system, we've already got it on the 380, works extremely well. That picks up another 2% and improves reliability as well. So, summing all this up, I know there'll be a lot of numbers tossed around and a little bit of confusion from the guys in Seattle who are running around in circles right now. Here are the facts. And by the way, this is all guaranteeable to the airlines. Power plant gives us 11%. Now, some of you who are the aviation writers in the room will say, yeah, but isn't it bigger? there must be some more drag. That's true. It is bigger. That costs us about 1%, so you've got to subtract that out. What about weight? Aren't these new generation engines heavier? Isn't the nacelle bigger because the fan's 112 inches? Isn't the pylon going to carry more weight? Yes, it is, and that's going to cost us 2%. So I've got to subtract that out of the equation, but then I have 4% aero improvement for the 3.7 meter long wingspan and the new sharklets, and we put all that together, and this is per trip. So let's not get all tied up about how many seats are in an airplane, we stir it all up, confuse everybody. No, this is per trip. Per flight, 12% lower fuel burn. Now, with Kieran Rao's SpaceFlex, we could actually get between 6 and 10 more seats into the airplane than we do today. You divide that up, 6 more seats for a 300-seat airplane is 2% right there. It's very simple math. We improve then fuel burn per seat by 14%. That is game-changing, 14%. And that's the new interior. The new interior will have the same IFE, the same LED lighting, the same mood lighting, exactly the same as what's being offered on our own 350 and on the 787. The only way the passenger is going to know that he's not on a 787 is the seat's going to be bigger. He'll have the 18-inch seat, not the 16.9-inch seat, which, by the way, I cannot fit into. So this is our new interior, 2-for-2 seating, 18-inch wide economy seat compared to 16.9-inch for my competitor. We also have increased cabin efficiency, what we call ICE. We have new designs, the lavatories, the SpaceFlex, the Smart Lav. We have a mid-underfloor crew rest area. Rather than trying to squeeze people in the overhead and losing bin space, we're putting them in the mid-cabin down below. It works very efficiently. So put all that together, and what are the numbers? Well, here's standard seating for the -800 and -900neo. So we have 252 seats on the -800, and we have 310 seats on the 900. In terms of design weights, we stay at 242 tons right now, which is the same as we have today, or at least entering service next year on the 330. Today, we're not up to 242 yet. Engines, we've got the new Trent 7000, 72,000 pounds of thrust. Fuel capacity stays the same at 139,000 liters. Max passenger range, 7,450 and 6,200. Now, if you go to my competitor's website, you'll come up with some very strange numbers about range on their aircraft. And so before you write your articles, I don't want anyone to get confused. They talk about the 787-8 has 7,850 nautical miles, and their -9 is 8,300 nautical miles. Well, that's with unrealistic passenger weights, unrealistic catering, unrealistic weight of the airplane, operator's weight of the airplane. But if I were to do the same thing, this is the range we would have to the exact same rules they've got. So when you're doing comparisons, don't use my realistic airline numbers at that middle line. Use their flaky numbers. So our 7,450 airplane becomes 8,200, more range than a 787-8 by about 400 nautical miles. And honesty, being honesty and everything, truth in advertising, I am short of range on the 330-900 by about 1,300 nautical miles compared to the way they would do the calculations. In reality, I've got a 6,200 nautical mile airplane and a 7,450 nautical mile airplane, and so do they, somewhere in that range. I'd give them 1,000 miles more on against the 330-900. Now, why am I not particularly worried about that? Because we cover 93% of all the missions that they can cover. There aren't that many people that actually want to fly to Antarctica. So if you really look at city pairs around the world, we think we've got the missions covered here very nicely. There's a range circle. Here's our 330-800 in the dark blue, and then our 330-900 in the light blue. From London, we can go all the way non-stop to Honolulu. So I hope Mark Dunkley is actually listening to this presentation today. But look at those ranges. We can also go down to Singapore, Jakarta, non-stop from London. Of course, we can fly back as well to serious airline rules. So if you compare the market today, you take the 330neo up against the 787, and what do we have? We have equal or slightly higher seating capacity, and we'll go out and draw that to any airline layout, probably about 6 to 10 more seats than they've got. Equal fuel burn to the 787, actually about 1% or so better, but who's going to argue over a percent? Lower engine thrust required. We have proven airframe maintenance cost. Everybody knows how to maintain our airframe, and we even dropped the price of maintaining our airplane by 5%. That gives us 1% lower cash operating cost, but then with the drum roll, the real bottom line is, because we've already got a fully amortized airplane, we can offer it at very, very attractive pricing, essentially coming up with a game-changing airplane. Equal or slightly better cash operating cost, much better reliability, wider, more comfortable seats, and a significantly lower price that when you factor all of that in, comes up with about a 7% lower cost for the aircraft. We launched it right now. As Fabrice said, this is an unconditional and unanimous launch by our board. They had their board meeting. They decided to go ahead and launch it. This is not an authorization to offer. This isn't how many orders are you going to get in the next 6 months, and then we'll decide what we do by the end of the year. Absolutely not. This is fully launched today. The A330 design freeze, Neo design freeze, will be at the end of 2015. Then you can see the engine will start flying in the beginning of 2017, flight test program, first airplane delivered to some lucky customer in December of 2017. And as Fabrice said, that's a record in terms of bringing a new aircraft to market. It's a record because we know how to build this airplane. We know what we're doing. We're building them at the rate of 10 a month right now. And we have very high hopes that the Rolls-Royce engine will not only meet these targets that we've got up here, but perhaps even exceed them. Eric, would you like to comment?
Good morning. So first of all, we at Rolls-Royce are very pleased to be here today and to have been selected by Airbus on the A330neo as a sole source engine. It's very important for us. It reinforced the partnership we have between the two companies. As you all know, we are engaged on a certain number of programs, especially on the large fans. As we all know, the Trent 700 has been the natural selection and is the natural selection on the A330. That's why we have about 70% plus of market share in terms of backlog. The 7000 really builds on that fantastic heritage. We'll benefit from the experience of the 700 with all of the maturity and in-service experience we have. We'll benefit from the architecture of the Trent 1000-10, and we also benefit from the technology we have now proven on the Trent XWB, which is the most efficient turbofan in the world today, and you will hear more about the XWB within the next few days. So with that being put together, we deliver, as John said, 10% of SFC, which is leading to 11% of fuel burn improvement at power plant level. As we say, double the bypass ratio, and it halves the noise, which is very important, especially for air shows. So basically, the program is already underway. As John mentioned, we are shooting for an engine certification around early 2017 and an entry into service during the fourth quarter of 2017. And this is my pleasure today to be here. I want to thank Airbus and Fabrice and John and all of the Airbus team and the Rolls-Royce team for the hard work we've done together. We have a fantastic product, and we will prove it within the next few weeks and few months. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Fabrice. Thank you, John. And now let's go in the Q&A session. We will have a photo session afterwards. First question, Nicola Clark.
Sorry. Just wondering if you can give us a clue, John, of how much this plane is going to cost, and secondly, also if we can get an estimate of total development costs or total investment that's going to be involved in this upgrade. Thanks.
Well, in terms of the investment, I think I'd like to turn it over to Fabrice to talk about that. And Stefan will be issuing price lists for the products to be on the website this afternoon.
Well, regarding the development costs, we are between 1 and 2 billion euro development costs.
Next question, please.
So, sorry. So, with the launch of the A330-900neo, and A330-800neo, what does that mean for the future of the A350-800?
The 350-800, we have seen the trend of the market. The trend is that most of the backlog was converted into 900. I think we have still 34 firm orders, so we are committed to them. But this trend, I think, will continue. The big difference is that with the 330neo, we can also offer slightly a smaller aircraft than the 900 in very competitive conditions. And in this segment, the 330neo is more cost efficient than the 350-800. So I believe that all our customers will elect either an upgrade to the 900 or moving to the 330neo. On top of that, as you could see, the 330neo entry into service comes pretty early, so we can match the requirements from our customers.
Next question to Karen Walker, Air Transport World.
Hi there. In June, John, you said Airbus was in no rush to launch this plane because you didn't want to cannibalize your own product. So what's changed, and how will you make sure that doesn't happen?
Overwhelming customer demand for the product. You can imagine that we did some of our own market studies on this. We went out and talked to major airlines. We also talked to major international leasing companies. John Pluger from ALC is sitting in the front row here. I think you'll be very impressed with the order book that we're going to be announcing in the next couple of days.
Next question to Achim Figen from Air Aero.
Over here. You're going to make changes to the wing with the winglets and the wingspan. Do you have to make structural changes to cater for the additional weight of the engine?
We don't intend to change, for instance, the center wing box, which is a very complex element. So we check carefully the limit loads that we can accommodate. Then, regarding the wing, it's a job of carrying, so altogether, I think, close to 5 tons more under the wing. So you imagine we need to reinforce them. But we also reduce the weight of some parts of the wing, and we extend the span by 3.7 meters. So this is the main structural change of this aircraft.
Next question, Andrew Parker, FT.
Can you just confirm, please, that the majority of the structure, i.e. the fuselage and the wings, will continue to be made from traditional aluminium? And if that's right, can you therefore explain why you think A350 plus A330neo is going to enable you to overtake Boeing in the wide-body twin-engine market, given they've got an all-composite Dreamliner and they've got a 777X coming with a composite wing?
Well, on the first part, the answer is yes. We don't change the wing. We highly modify it, but we don't change the wing, and I can tell you it's a big, big difference. On the second one, John will answer in more details. But clearly, we have been continuously optimizing the 330 for the last years. John mentioned the 242 tons, and we are now ready to offer this product, which was not the case 5 years ago. So we have a much better 330neo. Then when you compare with the 787, you will probably have a reaction of our competitor, which is similar to the one they gave you in Paris Air Show in 2011. At that time, if you remember well, we were launching the 320neo. I think John, after 3, 4, 5, 6 months of marketing, had got 700 aircraft in the order book. But the reaction was still yes, the 320neo will hardly match the performance of our 737NG. So I would not be surprised that you would get the same message that the 330neo will still have a big shortage of fuel burn compared to the 787-8 or 9. This is not true. How could we manage that? Optimization. And then, compared to the initial performances of the 787 back in 2004, to my knowledge, there is extra weight, extra cost. And so the gap has reduced on both sides, and now we are on par.
And if you, Andrew, add up the orders, net orders of all wide bodies, I think I did this at a previous air show, but we'll update it for the end of this show. Net orders since the launch of the 350 XWB in 2008, we have more net orders for wide bodies over that 8 years or whatever period it was, since the launch of 350 XWB. And if you want afterwards, we can go through the numbers and add them up ourselves.
Next question, please, here.
Okay. Farm from Leham. What range is the 14% calculated at?
4,000 nautical miles.
Okay, thanks.
Which is a very typical longer range trip on this aircraft, London, West Coast, US, something like that.
Next question.
Sorry. With you spending a lot of financial resources into the A330neo, one of your largest customers, Emirates, wish of an A380neo, how would that impact the ability of Airbus to sort of cater to their requests from a financial, and a resource perspective?
We are listening to all our customers, including Emirates, you can imagine, but we don't intend to launch a 380neo concept soon. So we don't say we will never do it. The trend goes clearly towards re-engine aircraft, but the 380 now is stabilized. The 380 is a cash maker for some big airlines. Emirates is one of them. And Emirates talks about the replacement of their existing fleet. They have got only 50 of their 140 aircraft, so we have still time to react.
Next question to Dominic Gates.
Fabrice, so that leads to the next question. Is your wide-body twin-jet lineup now set, as Boeing's is, or do you see another hole at the top end against the 777-9X that you may have to work on?
I don't think there is any hole, and there was no hole at all. The point is that with the 330 now, we match the fuel burn of a new generation of aircraft. So we cover from 250 to 370 packs. And the gap between 350-1000 and 777X is much smaller than you could imagine when we compare apple to apple. So I don't believe that we need to launch any other member of a version of the 350 family, if it is your question. We are very happy with these 4 members, so 330-800, 330-900, 350-900, and 350-1000.
Next question.
Hi, I'm John Gale from Air Cargo Week. I'm just wondering, will there be a freighter version of these aircraft, and if so, what sort of belly hold capacity will they have?
We're not planning a freighter version at the present time. We think the dedicated freight market is very soft out there. We do have a very good freighter in the 330 freighter, existing CO freighter, which has about 65 tons of cargo up to, in its range version, up to 70 tons of cargo.
Tim.
Tim Heifer from Reuters. How many of the orders that you will announce this week will have been converted from A330 Classic, if we're probably not allowed to call it that, A330CO?
CO sounds better to me.
Okay.
Just like the 320 CO, right? Okay.
So how many
There's
of
a pattern
these,
here.
how many will be converted from airlines that don't want to take delivery of their 330s but would like the Neo? And if I could just ask briefly, how will you protect the A350-900 from cannibalization, given the performance you've described? And given the change of model name, will you continue to pay the reimbursable loan on the A330-200 on sales of the 800?
Well, in terms of order conversions, just like on our 320 CO to NEO program, we had virtually no conversions, very little conversions. I would see very little, if any, conversion of 330 COs into NEOs. In terms of the 350-900, remember I talked about range. So we have an airplane in the 350-900 with about 1,500 miles more range than our 330-900neo. We also have about 35 more seats in the airplane. Remember, it goes to 9 abreast and still has the 18-inch seat. We're 8 abreast on the 330-900neo to keep that 18-inch. So you get more passengers and you get more range in the 900. I see little or no cannibalization. And in terms of launch aid, I leave that one to Fabrice.
Reimbursable launch investments that we have. Excuse me. That we have reimbursed already many times, so it doesn't change. It's still a 330 family aircraft.
Next question over here.
I don't know the details of the current the status of the RLIs, but what I can tell you is that it doesn't change.
Next question.
Bob Griffiths from High Performance Composites. Can you tell us what the wing extensions or sharklets are going to be made out of? Are they composites or are they metal?
Well, the sharklets are definitely composite. In terms of the extension, probably composite as well. Yeah.
Next question to David Kaminski, then Robert Wall, and then we need to close.
David Kaminski from Flight International. At your current burn rate, you're going through the A330 backlog fairly quickly. You've got about 2 years of production there. Are you fairly confident that you'll have enough orders to bridge the gap before the A330neo comes around?
Yes. We don't, as I said before, this is a typical question that we had when we brought out the 320neo. Oh, isn't everybody going to just stop and wait for the new one? There are very good and solid reasons to buy 330 COs today, and we expect to maintain production.
And last question goes to Robert Wall.
It's really just to follow up on Dave's. How many end-of-line 330s do you have to sell to get the smooth transition to the Neo? And when will you be all Neo production?
Well, we're looking at the all-Neo production by the end of 2019 right now. So it's 18 and 19 as we go through the transition period. There's only 1 or 2 airplanes coming out at the end of 17. In terms of the orders backlog, there would be a couple hundred and holes to fill.
Okay, with this one, I close the press conference. We have now a photo session here with John, Fabrice, and Eric. And we set up the room now also for having a next commercial announcement at 10:45. So please stay with us. Photo session.
You might actually see the first order for the A330neo in a few minutes.
Announcement here at the Farnborough 2014 Air Show. Okay. So, a very warm welcome to our first commercial announcement here at the show. And may I ask the photographers to please get seated in the front row. And for this one, please welcome with me Stephen Utwahazi. He is Air Lease Corporation's chairman and CEO. And John Plüger, he is president and chief operating officer of Air Lease Corporation. Please also welcome with me Fabrice Bregier, our president and CEO of Airbus, and John Lee, our chief operating officer, customers. And Fabrice, without any further ado, I pass the word over to you to welcome our customer.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and a warm welcome to Steve and John. We have, of course, a very important announcement to make to celebrate another very special day in our relationship between Airbus and ALC. Steve is not just a great professional, very successful. He's an expert, if not a legend in this business, and we are very pleased that ALC is choosing our products. You will see which kind of product, but especially on the A330neo, this is a strong recognition of the quality of what we have just presented to you a few minutes ago. We are delighted to see the continuous growth of ALC. Steve, John, you add more Airbus aircraft to your catalog, and with that offering, it's a support to our own customers for a large choice of Airbus products from both the single aisle and wide body markets. And only 4 years ago, ALC started to do business and placed their first order for 51 A320 family aircraft. And right here at the air show in Farnborough, it was in July 2010. So this is a very successful growth and development, and we are very pleased to be part of it. May I hand over to you, Steve?
Thank you very much, Fabrice. Thank you. We appreciate all of you being here. As Fabrice indicated, today is a momentous day for Airbus and Air Lease Corporation. With the launch of the A330-800 and 900neo, we're very honored to announce that we are the first customer. We've signed a memorandum of agreement with Airbus this morning for 25 units, which will begin deliveries in 2018 to add to our wide-body lease portfolio. So we're very pleased to be the first launch customer for this airplane. We think it will be a superb follow-on to the A330 family, which has now been in operation over 20 years and has sold well over 1,000 aircraft. Anytime a wide-body twin-aisle aircraft sells more than 1,000 units, it's considered a commercial and aerospace success. So we're very honored to be part of this A330 follow-on program. Our team has ordered over 100 A330s during our careers, so this just reinforces our strong commitment to the A330neo program. In addition, and very important, we'd like to announce a firm order that was signed this morning by Air Lease and Airbus for 60 additional A321neo aircraft. And this will supplement the 50 that we've already ordered. So it takes our total A320 family neo orders, consisting primarily of A321neos, to 110 orders. Engine choice will be announced at a later date. Mr. Leahy, do you have any comments, suggestions?
You could always order some more. Okay.
Okay. then I suggest we sign the...
But let me just, because I know we're going to get the question here. What is this worth? The price of a catalog price for 330-900 is $275 million. If you then multiply that out, you get 6.9 billion. And if you add the 321s for 60 firm at $120 million each, you get 7.2 billion. So if you add those two numbers up, you get $14.1 billion. Congratulations, Steve.
Thank you. And if members of the media could loan us $20 each, we can at least make our first down payment to Airbus. We're doing a signing ceremony.
Let's do the signing.
Yeah, okay, let's sign now.
And the photographers can come up front. Can I shortly ask the photographers to pass, to give way, that we make a nice photo shoot with the... Sorry, can I ask this?
That's the prototype. That's not the
They should have fixed the wing box.